Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. One of our favorite segments that we did last year was kind of recapping the Mecum Kissimmee auction, and if you remember, last year was a great sale for them. This year it's blown it right out of the park with how well everything did down there, cars across the board. Something we really haven't seen in recent memory. It's not just one particular group of cars like in 06, 07 it was the Mopars. Later years maybe the Boss 429 Mustangs, and kind of those particular models having their run. Everything at this sale from day one until yesterday, which was Saturday, we're filming this on Sunday and it's actually still going on today, is just doing insane, crazy money. We're going to kind of recap that, give our thoughts, where we were right, where we were wrong on some of what we saw happen down there. And the forums, social media, all the buzz has been, everything that's happened down at the Mecum sale in Kissimmee. One of their better shows, if not the best show of the year. And it leads you right up to Barrett-Jackson, which is going to be happening here in the next 2 weeks. So great start for 2022 for the collector car world. Rare muscle cars, kind of everything we've been seeing with Bring a Trailer, the cars that we've had in our inventory, as well as some of the people we work with. And really didn't come to a surprise for us that the auction was strong, but definitely a surprise that it was as strong as it was. We're going to start here with the Super Snakes. We've been saying it now for a little while that we thought Super Snakes were some of the most undervalued cars on the market, and it just proved this weekend that was the case. We're going to start here with the 2020 Shelby Super Snake Bold Edition, and the car did $330,000, 86 miles. Estimate was 225 to 240. And it just blew right past those estimates. This one is a manual. It was believed to be one of one in a manual with the color. And again, things that we've been saying, the last 12 to 18 months, you need something that is a manual, high horsepower car. And the crazy thing with this car is it's built on a GT premium body. We've been saying now for a while we love our 07 to 14 Super Snakes because that was a converted GT 500, where here you have a GT premium. From the research that I saw, not 100% positive on it, but this car was about 125 grand sticker, which is crazy. I mean, you're 2.5 times MSRP. The ones that we have in our stock right now, we're looking for a little over cost, and it's going to be crazy. I'm telling you right now, these are the most undervalued cars. If you were to give me the money and say, here, go buy something that you think is going to appreciate, these are it. We did a video on it saying it's like the next Vipers, the next ZR1s, all that, and it just proved it here. I mean, this was the star of the show on Thursday. Saw a lot of buzz about it that night and the days to follow. You had a 07 GT 500 Super Snake here at 14,000 miles that did 82.5. Really, really strong money. It's 40th anniversary car. I mean, these cars were doing 55 to 65 grand. You can go back and look at the results from previous auctions on that, and here it is. The estimate 60 to 75 grand. 14,000 miles honestly is kind of a lot on the Super Snake for these years. We've tried to get them sub 10, really sub 5. And I thought this was just a really strong sale price for this car. I thought it was going to sell, somewhere probably mid-70s all in with the fee, but did a little bit stronger. Nice two-tone interior on that. Signed dash by Carol, you see. And then you also had the 08. Not a great year for the Super Snakes. 07 to 10 because they had that cast iron block. This one, 300 miles, really nice car, but you are now hitting six figures on 07 and through 2010 Super Snakes. We really like our 2011 through 14. We went over in detail why, but here's just proof of that Super Snake market, being really hot down here at Mecum Kissimmee. This one, 80 to 100 estimate, and you're hitting the top end a little bit more over that. What we were definitely wrong about down at the show, and we don't have anything kind of pulled up here, is the older cars still doing big money. I thought that the older stuff, when we had it, guys were just kind of aging out of that market. They were more into the newer stuff, but that was certainly not the case down at Mecum in Kissimmee. And I'm going to pull up one car here since we're on it, and it was a 67 GTL, I believe. I'm not going to pull it up, but it was a GTO. It did $205,000, and it was an automatic convertible. We had ours last year. Awesome white blue interior, 4-speed, won every award you can imagine, and wound up selling it to a client of ours who took it to where was that? Indianapolis, and I think it did like 110, 120, and it was a nicer car than the one that just sold. So the older stuff, definitely not aging out. Super strong money on that stuff, and it's doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon, that's for sure, because it's across the board. We were moving more towards the newer stuff. Like I said, I thought that was more of a population of buyers where you had a bigger age gap of people, anywhere from 25 to 85. But the older stuff absolutely did do money. Where we were right, the ZR1s. We've been saying it now for over a year. I got to say, that's probably the biggest buzz of the market right now and of the show was F122. You had a beautiful black with red interior competition seats, still in the wrapper, automatic ZR1, and it did $297,000. I thought the car honestly was going to be about 220. You see the estimate here, 175 to 200. When we had our 8-mile car back in the summer, I love the ZR1s with the automatics. In terms of collectability, you have the last front engine, and we thought last manual transmissions, but here you go, 297 for a automatic wrapper car, and it makes you wonder, what would this car have done if it was a stick? And we were getting blasted. We were saying that the ZR1s are on the heels of the Viper, and lo and behold, the ZR1s do more. This ZR1 does more than the Viper Extreme. We're going to get into the Vipers here in a little bit. The Centennial, I mean, this was a moonshot. I thought this car honestly was going to do about 160 all in, probably about 145 on the block plus fee. $214,000 for a C6 ZR1. Beautiful car, 8 miles still in the wrapper. I mean, just magnificent. And you can see estimate 80 to 100, which I thought was really low on the car. I thought, like I said, around 160, all the way to 214.5. So the Corvettes, new Corvettes, old Corvettes were super, super strong. Probably, in my opinion, the best buy of the auction is right here, and it is S118, and it is the ZR1 convertible, 7-speed ZTK, only 140 manual convertibles. We've had a few now if you guys have been following us, and ZTK is about half, and then you obviously have the Sebring Orange package here, which gives you the comp seats, but you don't see a lot of them with the competition sport seats. Estimate 150 to 175, which was really, really light. We knew it wasn't going to really go for that. But I thought it would be 240 plus the fee, getting you around 260s in that range. I mean, I just don't think yet the convertible ZR1s are really catching on, but definitely expect that to, ascend in value. I mean, there's just none out there, especially ZTKs in a stick. You're sub 1,000 miles here, so a super nice car. Really wasn't much that you can qualify as a good buy at this show. Everything did, really strong money, but that one is one that I would like to kind of circle back to in the next couple of years and say that was a really good buy for that show. The Jetstream Blue ZR1, I thought this did really, really fair money, 112 on the block plus the fee. 09, a little bit tougher year for the ZR1. It was the first year, but you have 36 miles in Jetstream Blue. And again, the estimate 80 to 100, and this was the first ZR1 from the Brewis Estate collection, and it kind of got everything going. And again, super nice car, but we've been seeing these cars on Bring a Trailer do this kind of money, and we said we really expected this sale to be strong. This strong, I would have to say we did not see it being this strong, and I think they needed it. And that's kind of another point where we were wrong, is the live house auctions running into some trouble with platforms like Bring a Trailer and these other online auction sites, where you're not paying 10% buyer fee, 10% seller fee. Your car's not moving; it gets to stay in the garage. And I really thought that those online platforms were threatening Mecum and potentially Barrett Jackson with these live house auctions. And it doesn't seem like Mecum is going away anytime soon. That is for sure. Wrapper cars, cars that are still in the plastic, we've been saying all along, those cars are highly desirable, bringing so much more of a premium than others, and that gap is getting even bigger and bigger. 1,500 miles, 1,000 miles compared to stuff that is, sub 20 miles in the wrapper. That gap is getting bigger and bigger. The Vipers, I thought the Vipers did well down at Kissimmee, especially the earlier gens. We don't do a whole lot with the earlier gens. We do Gen 4, Gen 5 primarily. But where was it? The 96, yep, right here, GTS for almost 150 with 5,000 miles. I thought that was super strong. So some of those are other auctions. But the Gen 5s, 2016, 23 miles, 214. That's up. There was one on Bring a Trailer, silver blue car. And then there was the 2017, another kind of star of the show, 140 miles. Extreme, 275. I think Bring a Trailer is definitely a better platform if you have a Gen 5 ACR Extreme, more so than Mecum. But back in Orlando, there was a black-blue ACR Extreme that did 205 plus the fee, so 225, and it got put on Bring a Trailer, and it sold for 270 all in. So, just in a few short months here from August to Kissimmee, I mean, this car is up $50,000. So in 6 months to make 50 grand, I think you'll continue to see the Vipers ascend in price. I think right now it's the ZR1's turn, and that's kind of what's been taking place now for the last year. The top dogs for domestic muscle cars are definitely the ZR1s, Loaded ZTK, especially manuals, low miles, and then your 2017 Viper ACR Extremes, and they've just been taking turns. While one is hot, the other kind of levels, and then it just kind of has been bouncing back and forth. And I think you're going to see that continue this year. I mean, for the car to go up to 275 from 225 in 6 months, pretty much on par with the ZR1s. I mean, 6 months ago, they were about 50 grand away from where they are now. So it'd be interesting to see, where these cars are 6 months, a year from now, and obviously a few years from now, because they definitely are the two top dogs in terms of domestic muscle cars. The Demons. We said that the Demons were going to be taking a big jump because they just came out and said the Challenger Charger program, the Hellcat, that motor is going to be discontinued. And here you go, a 9-mile purple Demon doing almost 200 grand. And then you had one white with the black, and that had, I think, 200, almost 300 miles, and that's 189. I mean, these cars were selling for single-digit miles, 150, 160, just 6 months ago. And here you go, and the Demons, as expected now, are making a surge. What we saw a lot of too, not just at this auction, but personally, people buying cars obviously for investments, but so many of them are buying them for their kids and saying it's going to be, tucked away, it's going to be passed on and inherited to them. And we've been seeing it with the cars that we've sold. You don't see them come back to market. Once they're bought, they're tucked away, and you're not really going to see those cars possibly ever on the market again. Some of them, maybe it will down the road, but you're talking many, many years. That's something that we've been seeing, and even on the interviews on some of these cars, I know the one Ferrari, they interviewed the guy, and he said it's going to be passed on to his kid, and his kid was like 3 or 4 years old there. Something that really did surprise me was the Pro Touring and Resto-mod cars doing really strong money. So there was a 1970 Charger. It was purple. I'm going to try to bring it up here for you guys. And we actually had a chance to buy this car a couple years ago, and I passed on it because I just didn't think it was to the level of a pro touring car at the time, and boy, was I wrong on that. So it was a 1970 Charger, and it did insane money. It was actually listed online on eBay for less than this, and here it is, $330,000. Really nice car, but man, I mean, I was wrong, totally wrong on Resto-mods being investments. I mean, this car was a third of this price just 2 years ago, and never would I have imagined you can buy a Resto-mod pro touring car and nearly triple your money in just a couple years. Because I mean, you could have those cars built. It's not a car that has documentation. You could find one, build it. Of course, it's going to cost you money to do that, but to say that that was an investment type grade car, I was way, way wrong on that. Something to kind of end with, Bring a Trailer. There was a article that came out a couple weeks ago, and it said that they did $839 million in total sales for 2021, which was up $500 million from 2020. You definitely have to expect that to break $1 billion this year. Would not totally surprise me if it's 1.2, 1.3, maybe even 1.5. After seeing what happened down here at Mecum, I think you're going to see more and more cars hit that online platform. The collector car market, as they said, is white hot, and we saw that down at Kissimmee this year. And it's just an interesting time. People are saying, well, what is the dollar worth now? And we had an interesting discussion yesterday with some friends, and they said, it's not just the dollar anymore. You have cryptocurrency, and that's always, going on 24/7. And the people that made their money and cashed out, even if the market does happen to go down, they still have the money that they made. And, you don't just have the dollar. So these people that made the money that they made, however they made it, are definitely spending it. And, it doesn't matter what it is, everything did big money at the sale. And it's something that you really don't see. Usually it's one particular model, or you could say this did well, and, this particular sale, everything did well. So it'd be interesting here to see kind of what happens. I think the spring and summertime heading into 2022 are going to be wilder than anybody has seen before. You have the push towards electric vehicles and all these EVs making the appeal for these high horsepower cars, especially manual cars, as we move more towards automatics, that much more appealing, that much more of a draw for collectors. And boy, was that true this weekend.